just go over like what the questions are, like what the questions are, just for context for people.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you want to start it? Do you want to like start with like the one belief at a time? Because that's basically, that's what you work with, right? So the one belief at a time is like, what's your belief? And so that belief may be that,
I'm so sorry. Just a moment. You keep going, but okay. My nanny is locked out of the house. Just a moment.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So you'd come up with a belief, and to use Megan's example is that I must protect my children, right? And that my children aren't safe. And so the question is that true? And it's a yes or no answer, yes or no. And this is a meditation. You're really diving deep into the yes or no answer. And then if it's a yes, it's like, can you know this is absolutely true? Like are you making assumptions, that kind of thing? Yes or no. And then you go into the idea of, when you're in that space of believing this thought, where do you go in the past and where do you go in the future? And it's just getting clear on that. Like, oh, I feel my children aren't safe because of this experience or that experience. And then where you go in the future is, oh, if something happened to my children, then the grief I would have. So I'm on the question. Welcome back, Megan.
Thank you.
We're going through like where your mind goes in the past and the future, and really understanding that. And just realizing that the experience you're having in the moment, you're not actually there in the present moment having that experience. It's being informed by a past memory and or a futurizing thought, like a fear around the future. And then the question is, how do you feel when you believe this thought? I'm really becoming aware of like what emotions come up, what sensations come up in your body. Maybe you can give an example of that, Megan.
Yeah, because I would say it takes, for me, it took a little bit of time to get really clear on past or future stories that I was telling, but I could recognize the sensation. So if I had the belief, because it's late at night and I'm home alone with the children, that we're not safe, the question is, who am I when I think that thought? Or what do I feel? Well, I feel my heart picks up a little. I feel myself being on alert, just like, always like on alert. I feel, like overt, like extra aware of every sound, right? I notice that my breathing is shallow and my chest is tight. And I start thinking, well, I really wish Scott was here. And then I feel small and I feel weak and I feel incapable. And that is what my body is starting to feel with the thought that we aren't safe, right? All of those sensations start picking up. I start feeling sad. I start missing Scott. I start feeling not enough. I start feeling incapable. All of these things are piling up because of that one thought. We're not safe.
Mm-hmm. And then the next thought is, the next question is, who would I be? Or it's also, how do I treat myself with that thought? How do I treat others with that thought? Mm-hmm. Right. So it's understanding that our motivation comes from thoughts as well. Like I treat people differently when I hold a thought, and I treat myself differently when I hold a thought that causes me stress.
Right. So for example, last night when I was feeling not safe because Scott wasn't here, I started feeling mad at myself. So mad that I would be almost 35 years old and still afraid to be home alone, and upset with Scott for wanting to go off and be at a retreat and not here to protect me. And so now I have these judgments of not only myself, but of Scott. So this one belief, we aren't safe, is now piling on physical sensations, emotions, and judgments of him and myself.
Yeah. Wow. So you treat people differently. And then the next question is how you would be, who you would be, and how would you be without that thought? If you're incapable of even having any idea that you could possibly be unsafe, who would you be?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for me, it was I would be present. I would be relaxed and calm, enjoying a quiet evening. I would be like taking a hot bath and reading my book and taking up space in the bed, right smack in the middle. I would be enjoying, yeah, my time. Feel I would feel peace. I would feel presence. I would feel gratitude that Scott was off doing his thing and giving me this space and this time with myself. I would be grateful that the kids were all peacefully sleeping safely.
Yeah.
I would have trust in myself. I would have trust in life. I would be grateful for our safe neighborhood. Yeah, so those thoughts and then those sensations is calm and relaxed.
Yeah.
Based without having that thought. Now who I am and what I do is very, very different. How I show up is different.
Yeah. Yeah. So powerful in understanding that we are motivated or demotivated when we believe our thoughts. Right? It's simply our belief in our thoughts. And when you do self-inquiry, you discover that there's the opposite of the thought is often just as true, if not more true than the thought. So do you want to demonstrate a turnaround? If you took one of your beliefs or one of your thoughts, do you want to demonstrate how you turn it around?
Yeah, so my children need me to protect them would be one, is that my children um, are safe. Another turnaround is I need me to protect me. And when you're going through these turnarounds, you're actually finding 3 examples of this. So even with the turnaround that I need me to protect me, a great example of this is like the airplane and the face mask.
Yeah.
Of course, my focus would be on taking care of myself, because when I am taken care of and I am safe, my children are. The other one is they do not need my protection, and giving examples of that, which we have countless nights in this home where they are peacefully sleeping, always protected. There are countless times that I am not around and they are protected. There have been times when we thought something terrible happened and it didn't, they were protected. So we're coming up with not only the opposite, the turnaround of it, but examples of the turnaround.
Yeah. And part of yours is that they are safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because if you're safe, you don't ever need protection.
Right. And that is a turnaround of they need me to protect them. To say that they need protecting means that they are already unsafe. And instead it is they are safe. And so, those same examples would work with it. Oh, wait, they're sleeping peacefully. They're safe, right? Oh, look at me looking at the monitor with them sleeping happily.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I love that. I love that because Byron Katie really focuses on reality is truth, right? Reality is truth. And so just being in that present moment, it is your power. Like the truth is we are safe in this moment and in this moment and in this moment. Right. And she actually she calls reality God, because it's the truth of everything. Reality rules, God rules, right? And I really love that. And another worksheet, do you want to talk about another worksheet that the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet?
No, not really. But I think that would be the one for the next one because this one is so lengthy. I would actually want to go back to, I know that you did the first question when I ran out to let the kids in and, but it is, that very first question, is it true? And you say yes or no. And then you go to the next one. Can you absolutely know that it's true? And, this is where I see most of my clients stumble a bit, right? I'm sure I maybe also stumbled initially. I've done so many now that whether I think it's true or I don't think it's true, I keep going because I can just simply go to question number 3. How does it make me feel? And if it is something that is painful and not pleasurable, of course, I don't want that thought anymore. And then the 4th question of who am I without that thought gives me the compass of what to practice being. So if it is, I'm calm and relaxed, I'm enjoying reading a book, then I do that thing and I start embodying that. However, and those first questions, is it true? The point is to meditate on it and allow the answer to come through intuitively and not be attached to whether it's true or not. However, once you start going into the story, yes, it's true because let me state my case. Let me convince you. Let me give you the backstory. Let me give you context. Let me tell you my side. You are immediately in ego. You are no longer in the process choosing to do inquiry, choosing to be at the 30,000 square or 30,000 foot above view, choosing to look at it as source may look at it. Instead, you're choosing to look at it as the humanness, the ego that has a very limited. So that's why it is a simple yes or no, not, well, yeah, because. Like if there's any describing it, immediately that you are back in fighting to be right. And this is where radical self-honesty comes in. Like, are you really committed to your inner journey, to your inner enlightenment, your inner ascension? And those very first questions will give you a great indication.
Yes. It's you come to find out that nothing is true. Nothing is true. And what it provides is freedom. This is the freedom, right? You and I have said, as we come to these awarenesses through self-inquiry, we're like, oh, wow, this is the freedom. And the freedom with a capital F, freedom that you thought money would give you, freedom that you thought love would give you, freedom that you thought approval would give you. This is the freedom, right? And it's self-provided.
Exactly. It's something you can do all on your own. And boy, does it help to have support. I can think a couple of times, just you and I, where there is some ego disillusion, right? Where it's like, ooh, that truth, that has me in a whole medicine journey on itself, right? That truth, yes. I'm going to throw up. That truth, it can't possibly be true, right? Like I have a total, like actual physical release of a reality I once thought was truth. And when I can allow that to dissolve, I have chills. When I can allow that to dissolve, then I actually see reality as it is. And it's that, like you said, that capital F freedom. It's the kind of experience that we think money, love, acceptance, and approval from other people will bring us.
Yeah. I love that you said that about like it feels like a medicine journey because you're totally giving up an identity. Right. I remember talking to you and I had to sit down. I'm like, oh my God. Ooh, I'm dizzy. I'm like, because you said you turned it around in a way, you gave me a turnaround. I'm like, whoa, and it hurts the ego a little. It hurts the ego a lot. It's like, oh, I have to sit down with this but it brought me so much peace. and our relationships are so much different, right? Because we're no longer the victim of other people.
And just how blindingly obvious it was that I would still choose victim role after victim role after victim role after victim role, after, even with all the quote unquote self-discovery and spiritual evolutionary work that I have done, I would still be in this space of ego, thinking that I was not. And so, this work has just been actual chains off.
Yes, it's super powerful. So we highly recommend that you check out the work and do the worksheets. How many people I've talked to who have watched some videos, listened to a book, and have never done a worksheet. That's what I call resistance. But that's good. It's good, because when you do a worksheet, that means it's the perfect time for you to do a worksheet.
Yeah. And I mean, you heard of her before and you're like, yeah, that's silly. I support many clients through that particular inquiry process. And some of them are like, oh yeah, I do it every day. And some of them are like, oh yeah, I did it, and there is a drastic difference in breakthroughs for those clients, right? It is the telltale sign of who's really willing to see inside. Most people are willing to see the outside of what could be changed out here, what could be better out here, what needs to shift out here, how things would be better if other people were doing it. But there's a select few that are like, I'm willing to only look at me, only look at me, only look at me. And when I'm only looking at me, I radiate and ripple impact. When I'm shifting, the whole world is shifting. And it's so much more effective than going out and like spearheading like some sort of like, let's change the world.
I love it. And I've seen such transformation because in not only in myself, but in my Making Light of Your Shadow class, which has been an 8-week class. We've been doing lots of shadow work, including Byron Katie, and the transformation and the peace and freedom and the happiness that people are feeling as a result of embracing the work and truly moving through those difficult parts. And we're like, they're the evil one, I'm not the evil one, right? And really going, oh, I see how I was responsible for that, has just completely transformed how they experience themselves and how they experience the world.
Yeah. So we highly recommend, and Byron Katie's the work, it's called Inquiry. She has complimentary, it's for free on her website. About every 2 weeks, Scott runs to the store and prints this off. I got a printer, that's how much we print this. But he always runs and gets me a couple weeks worth of worksheets. And there's a couple on there. And I think next time we could talk about the Judge Your Neighbor worksheet, because I do a Judge Your Neighbor worksheet if I'm working on a relationship, and then the one belief at a time. And I do one of these every single day. So yeah, and she gives it for free on her website. And I've listened to, I think, 4 or 5 of her books now. I've listened to 4 of them, but 2 of them twice.
That's great.
So
it's immersion, totally immersing yourself in it is powerful.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, well, happy Magic Monday, everyone. We sure hope you'll participate.
Where do you look for magic?
In the mundane.
In the mundane, well, within yourself. That's where the magic is. It's the journey inward, right? Yeah. So happy Magic Monday, everyone. We would love for you to post in the comments below what belief you're working on and what awarenesses you had in it.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Give one of your biggest beliefs below, one that you're sure is true.
Yeah, we'd love to experience you through this work as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, everyone. Mwah. See you
Bye for
next week. Bye for now.